Welcome back, class. In today's lesson, we're going to be going over the turn, what the basic turn of Universus is, the different phases of the turn, and what goes on within these different phases. So as a brief overview, our turns are broken into three phases. We have our ready phase, our combat phase, and our end phase. So what normally happens is, at the beginning of the game, you reveal your character to your opponent, and after shuffling up your deck, presenting it to be cut, so your rival may cut your deck, you decide who's going first. This is usually done by a dice roll or some other sort of random thing. So let's say that our boy Bakugo here chooses to go first. The player who goes first starts with their character committed, or turned sideways. Then you will draw your hand. So for Bakugo, that's 6 cards. And then your rival will draw their hand. And then you do what is called a mulligan, which you can look at your hand, and if you're going first, and you decide, oh, this is a bad hand, it's a hand I don't want, you take the entire hand, place it on the bottom of your deck, then draw back up to your hand size. So for Bakugo, this would be 6, and then you shuffle your deck. So then this will be your new hand. Now, let's say you're going second. Players who go second start with their character ready, as this. And if they draw their first hand, they're allowed to select which cards they don't want to have in their starting hand, place them on the bottom, and then draw up until their hand size, so they can draw the same number of cards that they put back, and then shuffle the deck. So going second, it is easier to design which kind of hand you want. Going first definitely has a little bit less of a chance there, but you do get to play cards first. Now, in addition, let's say Bakugo here is going second. And let's say we put this one card back. That's a pretty good hand. So now our rival is going to take their first turn, and then on our first turn, because we went second, we are allowed to draw one additional card. So you'll start with your printed hand size, so for us, it would be 6. But if we're going second, at the start of the turn, we get to draw one additional card. So that means we can play our foundations out, and still keep more cards in our hand to defend ourselves with, because you're not allowed to attack on either player's first turn. The player going first cannot attack, the player going second cannot attack on their first turn. But the player going first will then, of course, be able to attack, and you don't want to play all of your cards out and have very few cards left to defend yourself with. But we'll get into that when we get into the attacks of the combat phase. And yeah, I think that's the basic premise. We have the 3 phases: ready, combat, and end. Players going first start with their character committed. Both players draw to their printed hand size at the beginning of the game, and the player who goes second may draw one additional card at the beginning of the game, as well as the mulligan rules of player going first. If they choose to mulligan, will have to mulligan away their entire hand, whereas players going second may choose which cards they wish to mulligan away. With that being said, I think that's enough for the overview of the turn, and I will see you in the next lesson. Until then, class dismissed.